Hi everybody and welcome back to the Upside Dan. I'm going to be giving you my spoiler-free thoughts on one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and that is Matt Reeves' The Batman. When the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement. This movie is directed by Matt Reeves. It's written by Matt Reeves and Peter Craig. The Batman character is created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. This movie stars Robert Pattinson, Zoë Kravitz, Paul Dano, Colin Farrell, Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, and John Turturro. So I got to go see The Batman at the Fan First Premiere's IMAX screening, and it was just very cool to be at like a Fan First premiere. They didn't show any trailers other than the DC 2022 slate. It shows like clips of this year's DC projects. You know, it's a cool trailer, but that's really all it showed, and then there was just like montages of like just pictures popping up from the Batman, you know, behind the scenes, in front of the camera, scenes, characters, cast, some cool poster art with a countdown on it. It really felt epic leading up to it, and then it showed this awesome IMAX poster on the big screen, and it looked really cool. There is a clip of the cast. They're all in the clip, and they just like say, you know, you're some of the first fans to see this movie. We hope you enjoy all that stuff. So it's a cool clip. After the movie, we got this cool mini comic book, The Batman, The Long Halloween. So those were kind of the extras in this Fan First screening. I do think that IMAX is worth it, especially for some scenes. Some scenes it just looks breathtaking. There are some big scale scenes that you'd want to probably see in this format. I think especially if you have Regal Unlimited or AMC A-List, any of the loyalty programs for the theaters, I think it's worth it, you know, to see it in IMAX. First, let me just get to the cinematography here. It's really, really good. This is a very good looking movie. I think Matt Reeves directed the heck out of this. He's a very competent director, which I've known from like basically all his work. I've been a fan of him. Cloverfield, Let the Right One In remake, Let Me In. The final two Planet of the Apes movies in the newest trilogy. He really has an eye for directing and visuals. There are some breathtaking scenes, breathtaking visuals. Just the way the aesthetic is, the colors, like that red mist, the red light in one scene. Batman's leading a bunch of people out of something. That just looked really good. The Batmobile chase was amazing in IMAX, and I'm guessing like RPX and really any format. Maybe you could feel it. You literally feel the rumbles in your seats as the Batmobile starts up or speeds. I loved the Batmobile stuff. It just all adds to the aesthetic and the cinematography, the costume designs, the prosthetics, the makeup, especially on, which isn't a surprise, Colin Farrell's The Penguin. He sounds and looks unrecognizable. He just really lost himself in this role. All of that, the cinematography, like I said, the prosthetics, the costume designs, the prop designs, the set designs, the beautiful, beautiful landscapes, you know, of the city. Even though this is, Gotham's an ugly city. It's a dark city. It's a bad city. It's a brooding city, and they really captured that well. Matt Reeves did a very good job. The characters did a very good job kind of bringing that to the light and making it seem like it's a really, really bad city. This was one that I really felt the ickiness of Gotham, and I think that a lot of that is thanks to the cinematography and Matt Reeves' direction. I think this whole cast delivers. This whole main cast, and really everyone, but this whole main cast delivers on like every front, I believe. Zoë Kravitz was amazing as Selina Kyle, Catwoman. She really brought it to this role. She is one of my favorite Catwomans to ever be seen on screen, animated or live action. I haven't really watched many of the animated stuff, so I don't really know much about it. I mean, I have, like, I watched the animated series when I was a kid and the animated movies when I was a kid, but recently I have not watched much of the animated stuff. She really brought it, I thought. I thought she was a perfect casting. I thought that since the trailer. Jeffrey Wright, I mean, I've always liked him, and he's a really good actor. He kind of blew me away at scenes here. He's in it a lot more than you might think, and I really enjoyed his character. This iteration of Gordon, his interactions with Batman were some of the best live-action interactions between Gordon and Batman to me. I thought that they did a really good job playing off each other. John Turturro actually was really good as Carmine Falcone. He wasn't on my radar before the movie, but I was really impressed with his performance here. I thought that he really did a good job. Andy Serkis, another one. He's really good as Alfred. I will say, though, I wish we got more Alfred, but when we do get Andy Serkis, I think that he really brought it to this role. I think that he did a good job portraying the famous butler of Batman. They really played off each other very well. Colin Farrell, another one. Like I said, he just gets lost in this role. He's unrecognizable as the Penguin. He does a really good job here. The prosthetics are amazing. They definitely are Oscar worthy. I think Robert Pattinson really plays Bruce Wayne in the Batman role. The only thing is he plays them almost the same. And this is a decision. Like, I'm not saying that Robert Pattinson is at fault here or anything. It just seemed, I mean, Bruce Wayne and the Batman were almost acting the same. And you could tell that Bruce Wayne, which I liked here, wanted to be Batman most of the time. Because he is Batman most of the time. Which like I said, I liked. I think that it's a cool dynamic that Bruce Wayne would want to not be himself, almost. Another thing I liked about the character and just this story in general, it was very much a detective story. And they really played into that well. You haven't seen much of the detective side of Batman, in live action especially. Here we get a lot of it. And I really enjoyed that aspect. I was just pretty intrigued throughout the whole story with his character being more of a detective. I think Robert Pattinson played it very well. He is a good Batman. I've always liked him as an actor. I've always thought he was good, you know, post-Twilight. Now, to me, a standout is Paul Dano as the Riddler. Here is a statement, if I've ever said one. I think Paul Dano's performance here kind of rivals Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying that it is very good. It's up there. Really, it's one of the best comic book villain performances. I was blown away. I was freaked out. I was scared when he was on screen. He's intimidating more because of how creepy and different and just psychotic he is, more than his appearance, especially when he's out of the mask and the costume. Paul Dano just puts on a great performance to still make him intimidating, just downright scary. There's some horror-ish elements here, especially in this opening scene, which was just amazing. I loved the opening. Like I said, the whole cast just does great. So the story, I thought for the most part the writing was really good. I do think that the first two acts are a little stronger than the third act. I did like the third act, but there was just some pacing issues. I'm surprised that there were like pacing issues in a movie that's so long, which we'll get to in my negatives. I just thought the first two acts seemed, you know, more grounded, and then the third act got a little bit more bombastic, but not too bad. Still a pretty good third act, but I just wasn't as impressed with it as I was the first two acts. And then even at the end, you know, with the script, I think that it seemed like it was going to end one part, then it didn't, then it was going to end again, and then it wasn't. But I still think that this is a great cinematic experience. This is a great piece of cinema, a great movie. The action's a big positive. You get action sprinkled throughout. You've seen at least a part of each action scene, I think, within the 3-4 trailers or whatever. They're really great, and the suspense here is really good as well. The suspense in the action scenes and random scenes, you know, suspense is very well, and the Riddler plays a lot into that. There's a lot of epic shots. When the Batman is first seen, introduced kind of into the movie, it was an amazing scene, really intriguing, really suspenseful even, and just a really well shot scene. I really enjoyed that scene. And then the Batmobile, like I said, you felt it in the theater, but when the Batmobile, you kind of start to hear it before you see it. It was like you knew it was coming, and it was epic. One last positive, Michael Giacchino composed an amazing score for the Batman. It rivals some of the other Batman scores, to be honest. Those are done by some of the greats. Add him right up there with some of the greats. He absolutely composed a phenomenal score to go with this great movie. I would listen to this score. I think it's epic. I've loved it in the trailer. I loved it throughout this film. It is very, very well done. But let me get to my negatives. Like I said, the pacing in the third act, but the length of this movie. I'm not a huge fan of really long movies anyway, but that's not this. It is, I mean, this is a long movie, but I wasn't bored throughout the runtime, but it just did not need to be this long. I really believe that, and my friends said that as well. And I enjoyed it. Like I said, I was not really bored. It just could have been like a 2.5 hour movie, maybe. I don't think it needed to be 3 hours. Length was a little tough. I definitely felt the length. I don't put that against it too much. I just wish we got more Alfred, and even more of a few of the characters, more backstory for them. And maybe we'll get that in the future. I know there's a prequel novel, which I'm interested in reading now. I think I might get it. But yep, I was very satisfied with this movie. It was a very good theater experience, a very good movie. Before I get to my grade, have you seen The Batman yet? What did you think of it? Did it live up to your expectations? Do you think Robert Pattinson is a good Batman, Bruce Wayne? Do you agree with me that Paul Dano might even rival Heath Ledger's Joker? Let me know down in that comment section. Please blow up that comment section. But what would I give The Batman? The Batman gets a 9 out of 10 from me. That's a 9 out of 10 for The Batman. If you liked what you've seen here and you want to see some more content from me, click around here to see some more from me. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video with the Batman fans in your life. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, and come to the upside, Dan.